Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. So I'm looking at here what used to be my coriander bed. There weren't that much coriander in it in the end. It turns out the seed that I planted here, got it from the local corner shop. You can buy a massive bag of seed for really not very much money. The only problem with it is it's fantastic for food, so kind of crushing it up and sticking into curries and that sort of thing, but it's not so great when it comes to actually planting it, because unfortunately it's a variety that goes to seed quite quickly, especially in kind of hot summer weather. So what I've decided to do is dig all the weeds out, because the whole bed really was taken over by the kind of creeping buttercup kind of almost like a clovery kind of weed that just seemed to take over the entire bed. I was on a hiding to nothing. Even if the coriander had grown through it, I would have found it really difficult to harvest it. So again, I'll write that off to a bad job, and we'll try and put something else in here. So what I've done is I've replenished this bed. Took about half the compost out. This is an old roof rack that I've repurposed. Did a couple of holidays with it, stuck on the top of the car, but I managed to lose the keys. So I thought, okay, I'll repurpose it and we'll use it as a couple of raised beds. So I've got this one here, and the other half of this is around the corner there. So they make really good raised beds. They're made of this kind of carbon fibre, which generally lasts quite well. There's a few kind of breaks in it now, but yeah, it's done really, really well. So what I've done is got a couple more bags of compost in here, took the weeds out, and judging by my kind of last efforts with the potatoes, I've decided to sprinkle some superphosphate all over the entire bed, and I'm going to plant some of my seedlings that I've already got kind of nicely growing. So these are all in nice little cells. These are beetroot. I've got some more beetroot over here, different variety, and I've also got some pak choi and Chinese cabbage. Now I don't know how successful these would be outside. They're going to be fighting with flea beetle, pigeons, slugs, all manner of beasties out here, but I'll give a few of these a go in this bed and we'll see what goes on, see if we can actually get some nice produce off these. The superphosphate being basically for making roots should do really, really well for the beetroot. So we'll plant that out in here. I've got lots of little flies flying around in here now, so this is kind of new compost. So whatever nutrients are in this, it looks like that they've attracted some of the flies and the little hover flies and that sort of thing. But that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? Bit of wildlife should help pollination, that sort of thing. Not that I want beetroot pollinated. Right, so we'll take the things out of here. So let's have a look, see if we've got plenty of roots there at the bottom. So these cells from Container Wise are doing absolutely fantastic when it comes to planting these little beetroot. You kind of, what you do really is plant 2 or 3 of these in a cell, and then hopefully you'll get a nice thing with a root on the end. You don't want to touch the roots too much, because again, these being a root crop, they want those particular roots to turn into the beetroot. So we'll get these in the ground. Okay. So I'm going to add a bit of space between them, just so that they've got a bit of growing space. Being in these kind of multi-modular things, as they grow, some will get bigger than others more quickly, and then they can actually push apart the rest of the the beetroot. So you can end up having quite a nice 2 or 3 beetroot in one space, rather than actually direct sowing it. I know in the past I've direct sowed it and it's been okay, but I've fared a little better when it comes to beetroot by doing it like this. My wife has bought beetroot before from the garden centres like this, and they've always done absolutely fantastic for her. But then everything grows for her, so we'll see how this goes. Right, so we'll do a nice row of these particular ones. And let's try one more. Oh, that's just one on its own. We'll stick that in somewhere. So this is the deeper part of this bed I'm going to use for the beetroot, and the shallower kind, which you don't necessarily need a deep bed, I'll use for the pak choy and that sort of thing. Right, let's have a look at the yellow ones. So these are Burpees Golden. So again, plenty of roots on these. Again, done really quite well already. Just fingers crossed. These are a little bit shallower, a little bit easier to get out. So again, we'll put these in the ground. I'll show you kind of what this bed looks like afterwards. Bit of a mess, some of these actually falling apart. Right, let's try that one. Okay, so again, by putting a few in together, you kind of they're going to hopefully grow together, and then as the beetroot grows, they'll push each other apart, and you'll get plenty of room for all of them to grow in that one space. Okay, hopefully there's enough time before before the winter kicks in and the frosts and everything for these to grow. Plenty of water around, so that rain has been crazy over these last few days. So okay, that's a nice row of those. I'm going to put another row of these ones in. Fingers crossed. I think I'd have been fed a little bit better maybe with the shallower ones for these, but hopefully they'll do okay. I've always been of the mind they've got 2 chances. There's a few seeds. I think I got these seeds from mole seeds, and you do get quite a lot just for in that one lot. So if they fail, you've not lost too much, just a few seeds. Okay. I'll probably give some of these to the wife. I think hers are probably going to look a lot better than mine. by the time we harvest, but we'll see how that goes. Right, we'll put those back in there. So that's red, yellow, red, yellow. Another lot of yellows. Yeah, these ones fare a lot better. Blimey, they fall out left, right and centre. Right. So I like a little bit of variety. So yellow beetroot makes a change. Would make an interesting chutney. I quite like making different chutneys and things. Beetroot and aubergine chutney in the same chutney is an absolutely fantastic creation. I made some of those the other year. Really quite tasty. Right. So it's not too late. I mean, you could probably sow some seeds at this point. Yes, it's late in the season. Maybe as the frosts and everything kick in, you might want to give them a little bit of protection as time goes on. But generally, I think you're probably going to be okay. Right. So we'll stick some pak choy and wong back. Let's see what we've got. So we've got plenty of these Chinese cabbage and some pak choy. So we've got these nice little pak choy there. And we'll separate these into individual plants when we plant them. Right. So I've got two mines here, so I can actually plant them separate, or I can stick them in between the beetroot. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say. So not quite square yard planting, but pretty close. And again, interspersing different produce. So we'll dot these all around. Hopefully we'll get both of these plants growing amongst each other. These are some nice little seedlings. Again, you don't have to overthink this. Put them in the ground, hopefully they'll grow. I think the one thing I might need to do is put some slug protection around. And I do have some of the organic pellets kicking around somewhere. I know in the other bed I planted probably about 8 lettuce plants that I got from the local garden centre, and it was probably the most expensive slug food I've ever bought in my life. But it was about a fiver, $4.99 for probably 8 to 10 plants, I think it was. And I ended up pretty much, they were decimated in about 3 days. So I've replanted some more. Very stupid I am, I think, in some respects, in the hope that the next lot will fare better. But I have put some pellets around, some of the organic kind of slug pellets that are around there. Right, let's just move over a bit. Right, so we can stick some more of these in. So we'll stick some of the, so again, these are kind of Chinese greens. Again, some fantastic little plants, quite healthy. So we'll stick them in and we'll pray to the god of the slugs not to send them after these. We don't want no slugs on these. The other thing that I know I'm going to have to do is put a metal, probably a cage over the top, just to try and keep the foxes off. I have still got foxes here. They are still playing havoc with some of the beds. The other carrot bed, or rather beetroot bed over the far side at the front of the plot, was dug up the other day, and I've had to replant everything. Or rather, I've kind of been beetroot, I've left them where they are. Hopefully they'll find their own way. They're still in, they're not been dug out, they're still in the ground, but albeit not fantastic. Not a fantastic start to the life, I would say. Right. Okay. So I will return to this bed every few days or so. I might do some quick short videos to let you know how these are actually doing. I know I'm going to get a variety of different successes with these. I think if the fox gets in, I'm done for. But we'll see how it goes. So again, some more pak choi. Just dot them around a bit. These have done best for me, self-seeded, in the polytunnel. Had some fantastic purple varieties of pak choi this year, purely from the self-seeded ones. Right, I'm going to finish off again with some Chinese cabbage off this side. Right, again a different variety, nice and gentle with the roots. Okay, I think I've managed to, oh no, they're okay. That one's a bit rubbish, we'll stick that one over there. Right, whenever you're planting these sort of brassicas and stuff, it's quite useful where you can to get rid of the old leaves and things. So if the outer leaves start dying off, it's nice if you can actually remove them, because the slugs will go for the kind of the decaying stuff first. So if you can kind of keep your produce quite fresh if you can, it might help to keep the slugs off. That being said, this year has been an absolutely fantastic year for slugs. Okay, just have a few more. Right. So these are kind of the size that you get them from your local garden centre. Some of these are quite nice. Sometimes they're a bit bigger, although there's a lot of garden centres at the minute where their produce is looking a bit moth-eaten. I think there's a lot less kind of plant husbandry going on in the garden centres nowadays than what they used to be, which is a shame really, because having a nice presentable plant that they're growing is always quite nice. Right, so that's the first lot planted. I will be planting some more, but kind of let's show you what I've got. Right. Okay. So that's the new bed, all nicely planted up. So I'm going to give it a nice water in now. And we'll put a nice mesh over the top. In fact, I might do that now. Bear with me. Try not to knock the camera over while we stick this mesh over the top. I've fallen over this about 8 times already today. Let's get rid of that as well before I end up killing myself with that. Right, so we'll stick this over the top in an attempt to try and keep the foxes off. They might just use it as a trampoline, but we'll see how that goes. So that's kind of how I had it last time, and that was fine. It did kind of stop the foxes to an extent. Let's see if I can get it down a little bit more. Let's get the compost bags out of the way. Right, so that's the mesh over the top. It's an absolute shame you're having to do this, but whilst you've got foxes everywhere, I think Jess at plot 37, I think she's of the same mind. You can't not protect your produce when you've got foxes around, unfortunately. Got some more space there, I can put some more chard, so I'll plant some more chard there shortly. And we'll see how that gets on. Right. Okay, so that's the roof rack all planted up with some nice Chinese vegetables and some more beetroot. Absolutely love beetroot, so you can't beat it when it comes to a nice roast, especially at Christmas. If you can get something in the ground that will come out hopefully Christmas, then those roast vegetables around that time will be fantastic. Right, well, I think I'll just leave you with a big thank you to all my new subscribers. Hopefully you not come here in confusion that I'm going to be putting out a dance video every couple of weeks. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to manage it, but we'll see what happens. I couldn't help myself having Allotment of the Dead and having the new Deadpool movie out with that fantastic NSYNC track with all those iconic dance moves. I couldn't not do Allotment of the Deadpool, which is kind of what I ended up doing. So yeah, thanks for all those people that have liked that particular video. Really appreciated. Hopefully I'll do a few more. I'm a little bit eccentric like that, so I'm kind of doing kind of weird and wonderful things. And Halloween's coming up, you never know. Might do something weird. Right, we'll see you on the next video. So all the best, guys. Take care. Bye bye.